found The Naked Truth. Lively discussions about business, marketing, and personal development for small business owners. No hype, just help.
Happy late Monday. We're starting late, but we're here.
I'm late, you know. We're arriving fashionably late on Monday. It's okay. It's all good.
If you've been waiting for us, here we are. Thanks for waiting. Paul with
First of all, before we get into, we have a very long list of things today.
We do.
So I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm gonna. Everybody take a look at the lady with the straight hair. What's up with Ifat Cohen? Got it.
Look at that.
Boom.
Silky
Straightened.
smooth. I was like, I was actually trying to get some photo shoots this weekend, but I only got this on like Sunday afternoon. So this is before the first wash.
What happens? Does it all just go back?
We hope not, but that's how you manage to, know like a really good keratin thing. So yeah. I am scheduled to go to my sister's house on Thursday because you can't wash it for 3 days. Take a shower over there, and then she's going to do the whole thing again. And then hopefully by that next shower, it's just going to be silky smooth and nice. So you're getting me with my beautiful hair for 2 days. That's it.
Good. Enjoy it for 2 days. You're like, it's good for 2 days, and then everything after that is great.
Smooth, right? Like, look how nice it is.
It looks like it. It's different. I'm so used to seeing you with it all wavy and everything, and you got it taken. I've never understood. All right, I'm gonna say something that surely someone will perceive as sexist. All I can do is front load it and say it is not my intention. It's just something I've observed. It particularly. Now, maybe I just don't look for it enough in men, but the women in my life, it never seems to fail that the women with straight hair wish their hair was curly, and the women with curly hair wish their hair was straight.
It is so true.
What's going on with that? Like,
it's so true. And you know what's funny? It's like those with like straight hair will go do the roll thingy, right? Like, so it's only like here on the bottom, but it's right on. Right? My thing is like, I hate messing with this thing. Hate. I just want to go into the shower, come out, looks good. I don't want to mess. I don't want to do anything with the hair. Nothing, right? Exactly, right? But I want to have some hair.
That's all right. Well,
right?
Listen.
And so I'm like, okay, what treatment out there will just like in and out? Because if you're curly, like my curly hair, then it's frizzy and it's big and I get an afro and like, and it's in your face the whole time.
All right. Listen, all I ever want is for people to be happy and love themselves. And if this version of you makes you happy and you love yourself, I'm happy for you. So
thank you.
Congratulations on your incredibly straight hair.
Thank you. And it only took 3.5 hours. So not that
bad.
That's it. I was like,
Let's get into it. We got a lot.
So we have someone from Florida. Hello, watching us on LinkedIn. Hop on in. BeTheNakedTruth.com/live. And we have Dean with us, so we'll be part of the conversation. The first thing, you guys, if you remember, someone said on Twitch, Paul, don't talk about hair with him. It's very offensive.
Don't talk about hair with me?
Yeah, because you don't have any, so it's very offensive.
There's no need to get offended by it. Again, I'm like, everyone can do whatever they want with their hair. I'm not going to judge. I find it interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember we talked about deepfake and like how hard it is to know what's real and what's not anymore online.
Yeah.
And we talked about the companies and the apps. Remember the app? Like we talked about I think it's Zen app that the Chinese made. You can basically take a picture and you can put your face on celebrities.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, right? So the company that's actually winning the deepfake war is Disney, which kind of makes sense because they're making movies, right?
They're making movies, right? And so if you could have an actor do a part and then slap someone else's face on it.
Or like, the animation and everything, right? That's happening. So they actually the one who are, let's see if we can play this one without the audio. So what's really weird is like they're taking the deepfake, right? They're taking like a flat image, like a straight image. you know, like someone
That's
took
creepy.
a selfie.
That's just terrifying.
Right? And they're turning it into like human expressions. And here in this video, they're comparing their technology with other people's technologies and how well their technology is working in comparison. This is weird, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So what's fascinating is, guys, if you want the links to all that stuff, it's on our website. Come on here, you can watch the video and talk all about it. Rafi Rahav is here. Hi, Rafi. And so what do you think about that, right? Like when we are kind of like merging everything online with like the fake and the real, and how these things are actually going to affect our entire experience. What do you think?
You know, this is one of those things where I like to read about technology and I like to try to keep up with technology. Sometimes I find that when something like this happens, I struggle to see the bigger picture. Part of me is like I can see the problematic. I can see how it's cool for making movies and stuff. I can see how it's problematic for like fake news, right? And political corruption of political campaigns and stuff like that. And then I'm like, is there other stuff that I'm just not even thinking of? Probably, right? There's probably other
There's major. So imagine you are sitting on the shore, sitting in a coffee house, right? For example, and you're getting a video chat from your mother, and she says, "Hey, Paul, I just made some cranberry muffins," right? But by the way, before you come over, the credit card company called and they said that, you know, the card didn't go through. Can you give me the numbers again so I can give it to them and make sure I run it through? And now you think you're giving your credit card number to your mother, but you're really giving it to...
Jeez Louise.
That already happened. It's not it's not science fiction. It already happened.
Yeah, right. Because you start thinking about, that's where, again, I tend to be literal. And so you, at first you think, all right, so it's pre-made videos. Who cares? You go, well, if they can do pre-made videos at some point, they'd be able to do it in live videos, right? So what happens when, you know, someone you think you know pops up in a live video and it's not even them, and it's some Nigerian prince.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And you're like, your priesthood, right? But,
you know, and they want you to just send them $1,000. And then you do, and then you're like, oh.
But you know, like, take it even more. Like, you've seen the video of Obama talking shit, right? And it wasn't him. So when Deepfake first came out, I can't remember the actor, but it was Obama going about like talking shit online. And then he says, well, actually, I'm not Obama, I'm this guy, right? And so if you're thinking about how you can, right now you'd be like, hey, I have a video of him stealing from me. You don't, it's deepfake, right?
Right.
But it's created like that. And the application are, like, it's so easy to create these videos right now that it's becoming dangerous.
You know what? I was wondering, I saw a headline a couple weeks ago that, I can't think of who it was, but some big name said, we're getting out of facial recognition. And I thought, why would you do that with where things are at why would you get out? And I almost wonder if there's some kind of a crossover here that I'm not aware of I wonder if they're reading the tea leaves and going, we're not going to spend any more money on facial recognition when people can create these fakes that could fool, in certain cases, maybe our facial recognition. You know what I mean?
So it's deeper than that, right? Because I remember I interviewed a company in Israel that's created a software that won't allow facial recognition software to actually catch you. But they're using facial recognition in airports now, right? For the tickets and so many other things.
Right.
The problem is, like, it's okay when it's convenient and it's okay when it's abiding by the law, but when you start becoming Minority Report, then it becomes an issue. Right? And the challenge is, like, who's controlling the technology? And if do we trust the people who are controlling technology? The funny thing with this story is that Disney, it's all about, right? It's all about movies. So it's all about animation and experiences and all that stuff. They're not even in the sphere of, let me trick someone with a marketing video, but they're creating a technology that makes it easy for those who do want to create that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So unintended consequences of technology creation, right? That's Well, let's talk. Let's move from movies to TV. YouTube.
So, have you ever used YouTube TV?
I haven't, and I'll tell you right now, I'm not gonna at $65 a month. What are they thinking? Well,
So
how do
here's
they
the-
think?
So here's
Like,
the funny thing.
What?
The funny thing with YouTube TV is like they came about because they wanted to get all the cord cutters to join them, right?
Yeah.
And the first time I downloaded their app and I used it, I'm like, there's commercials here? Like, why am I watching commercials on an app that I'm paying to watch TV shows? And you know, and my son's dad said, well, it's TV. And I'm like, yeah, but the reason why I'm not watching TV and I'm paying
Right,
for
you go
this
trying to
app.
get away from all that, not just
Right?
get more of it a different way. Like, how's that bringing real value? And again, that's why I'm like, $65, Sasha, in a minute. All right, you're gonna move to the next thing, I'm gonna let my dog out and then I'll be back.
Anyway, okay, so I'll talk to you guys about this one. So here's this company that says, rest in peace, YouTube TV. You'll make a great case study. Again, you can watch all these links on our website. And here's the funny part, right? So YouTube really try to catch all the cable cutters and bring them into YouTube TV. And they started with, I believe, 35 bucks. And now they're jumping at $65 per month. And this guy right here broke it down. And he goes like, guys, if you want to spend $65 a month, look at all the services that you can have for less than that. Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, Amazon Prime, HBO Max. Like, the reason
Seriously.
why people move to YouTube
Seriously.
TV.
And again, I'm like, if you're a big company with all these people, like, no one at the company spoke up and said, you know. Like,
But here's, right? And I watched this one and I'm like, well, duh. I mean, you did the same shit with Google Plus. And right, and so now they're trying to force their products on users. And I'm like, guys, you already killed trust. Nobody trusts you anymore. You bring YouTube TV on, you take it off. You bring QR codes on, you take them off. You bring it, like, why would I ever use it? So same thing with Google Meet. Like, okay, we're done with Google Meet. Stop forcing it on me in Calendar and in Gmail, all that stuff. We're Zooming. That's all we do. The hell
Yeah.
you guys. So.
well, speaking of not trusting, now that brings us to our next story, really, which is people are still, this Facebook boycott is lasting, right? Like, Facebook seems like they are losing trust with a broader and broader segment of
So
the
this is really
population.
interesting, right?
And in this article,
Yeah.
this one guy's like, I don't think this is going to change anytime soon. Like, what do you think, Ifat?
So this one is interesting because it's the World Federation of Advertising. The CEO of the World Federation of Advertising is saying this. And the reason why it's interesting is because Mark Zuckerberg went out and said, they'll be back in a month.
Right, I
Right?
saw that last week. He was like sort of nonchalant, like they'll be back soon. You
They'll
know,
be back
so,
soon, right?
so is this really some just big posturing thing to get rates to come down before they'll start spending money again?
So that's what you would think, right? 'Cause
Right,
they
it's
did
just a
come
big
back.
negotiation.
Right. But now there are other platforms that they can go to. So they're actually moving away from Facebook, and they have Pinterest, they have TikTok, which we'll talk about in a second.
Which we'll get to next.
But they have Pinterest seems to be one of them, and I believe LinkedIn is coming up, right? So there's places to spend money where it doesn't have to be Facebook properties. And that's why the CEO of the Federation goes like, no, a lot of things are happening at the same time. One of them is there is a conversation around what's right and what's wrong right now that is happening. And people are being held to higher standards. And so if you come out publicly and say, this is my standard, now if you go back on it, then people are going to call you out on it. And maybe before it wasn't such a big deal, but in today's atmosphere, it is. And that's why the CEO goes like, look, they've already publicly said that they're not supporting Facebook practices. So if they come back, that offends everybody that, is suffering, feels discriminated
Right.
by Facebook. So they can't really come back and have a good brand.
First of all, can we just, in the category of you learn something every day, I didn't even know there was a World Federation of Advertising. I'm like, is that like a wrestling league or what? Like what?
Where they all come
do they
to
have
talk
do they have a headquarters somewhere like the Hall of Justice? Like what?
They have a CEO.
They have a CEO. Yeah, I'm like, I want to learn more about that. Like, do they have a secret handshake? What's going on with those dudes?
Right? And so Guys, speaking of which, if you want to join the conversation, and Dean, if you want to join the conversation, hop on here. This is the link to do so. Because this is what we're talking about, all that jazz. And Rajesh, fantastic, he's here with us. He came from Twitter. Love seeing you. So, talking about TikTok, right? This weekend, this weekend, me and my son, I was like, okay, we're going to do this together. And I told my son, I was like, hold on, pull up your phone, go to Google Play and delete TikTok. And the reason why we're doing that is the same reason India banned TikTok right now from all the users, which is a third of all the TikTok users. So they lost like 1.2 million users, I believe, million users. And the reason why is because there was a programmer who actually reversed engineered the code of TikTok, which they don't let you do because apparently every time they see a programmer trying to do that, they go and change something in the code. But they reverse engineered the code of TikTok and they realized TikTok is actually grabbing all your information from your phone and using it for advertising and for, spying on you.
Now I got to stop you, okay? Because I read that article and I read the way the Reddit user broke it down. And at first I was like, holy shit. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, isn't that what they're all doing? Like, isn't Facebook grabbing all our information?
I don't have Facebook on my phone for the same reason, right?
Yeah.
I don't have Facebook on my phone. I want give access to apps the way that. So two things. I don't have Facebook on my phone for the same reason. And B, if you're asking for permission, to use all these things as people installing the app and using it, that's one thing. We give you permission. But if you're not asking for permission and in the code, you're going into everything that I do on my phone and grabbing that's, destroying my private, invading my privacy. And so
here's the thing though, if all of that's happening in the background and people just love what they love, how many people are going to take TikTok off their phone? If you don't feel it, right? If you don't have a way of feeling it affecting your life, people aren't going to care. Like, they're going to be like, whatever. Like, they're just going to, don't you think?
It's very weird. I'll be honest. It was hard for me to delete it because I am enjoying a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing on TikTok. But it's a question of privacy and convenience, right? Like, where am I on the spectrum? And to me, it was like when India actually went and said, hey, we're blocking 65 of the apps, of the most used apps from actually anyone in the country using it. I was like, okay, it's not just one guy going back and looking at the stuff and coming back with information and, saying like, hey, we should delete TikTok right now because they're running and grabbing data in the background. There's a whole government agency that went and looked into all these things and now blocks it from their entire population. So to me, that means something.
Yeah.
And better, I was like, better safe than sorry. We don't even know what we're dealing with all the data tracking and all that stuff. I prefer not to have those apps on my phone.
All right.
Do you have TikTok on your phone?
I have TikTok on my phone, and it amuses me, And so
I know, it's a great,
I can't help but be like, well, it amuses me, and again, I sort of have made my peace with the idea that everything I'm using is taking my data all the time. So part of me is like, I need to think about it more. But my first reaction is, part of me is like, what's the difference between China knowing what websites I go to and Mark Zuckerberg knowing what websites I go to?
So it's just ethics, right? That's all.
Right?
It's just ethics. I was like, do you trust China with your information? Do you trust Zuckerberg with your information?
I don't trust anybody with it, really. But that's, again, my fundamental thing is like I don't trust any of them. And so, but again, so now you get to that point. It gets weird. It's like, so what are you going to do? You're going to cold turkey it? You're just not going to use any of it anymore? You're going to become, in effect, a sort of social media Luddite?
You don't have to. No, you don't have to. You have way. If you really wanted to go that route, you can use Tor and you can use VPN. There are ways for you to use your phone in a way that is not trackable and still use everything you're using. Yeah. So you don't have to do to extreme. I'm a hermit right now. You don't have to. You can still use whatever you want to use. My thing with it is, what's that?
Can we skip to the we're running out of time. Can we skip to the monkeys picking coconuts article? Because I gotta tell you, I'm starting to laugh already. I can't handle this. Here's something like
okay, you'll talk about it and I'll find it.
You want to shift it completely from like tech and what everything is going. Let's talk about the idea again. Paul learned something new this weekend. Do you know that in some countries, people train monkeys to pick coconuts for them? And I'm like, and then that like some companies are now saying we will not buy coconuts from the people who use monkeys to pick their coconuts anymore.
Because why?
Because it's like right. It's like inhumane. I guess they make them work real hard. And
you can see that.
And it's right. And I love animals. So even though I'm laughing, don't think I don't care about that. I do.
Yeah.
I just can't get over the idea of like that one day some dude was like, you know what? We should train that monkey to pick coconuts for us. like,
well, they can climb trees better, right?
Right? Like, do you want to climb the tree? No, but that monkey climbs it all the time. Let him climb up and get the coconut. We'll give him a biscuit or something, you know, like.
Yeah, but it's so sad, like the way they do it. That's like.
I know, that's what I mean. But I mean, still, the idea of like, I'm like, you can't blame someone for thinking of it. Like, be like, I don't want to climb that tree all day. Let that monkey run up there. He's little. It's not hard. I'm like,
but it's very sad because it's like, you know, they're chaining them and they're confining them in cages.
I know that's like where the real part is. It gets uncool, right? Like, you think so then again, you think of like how in our American culture, like, so then it spawned like movements like fair trade coffee, right? So you go, will there become fair trade monkeys? Will there be people who are like, no, we treat our monkeys cool. They only have to work 7 hours a day. They get extra treats. Like, will there be like these like really pampered? It's like when I went to the San Diego Zoo. Again, people have different opinions about zoos, right? Some see them as cool, some see them as not. I'm not making it, but I went there. The only time I ever went to a zoo in my adult life, I think I went when I was a little kid once, but I went to the zoo and I went to see the gorillas. Yeah. And the lady who worked at the zoo said that the gorillas got to sleep in king size beds and they had 50-inch flat screen TVs.
What?
Like, what is going on? And there's part of like, well, we got to treat them right. You know, like we got to treat them nice. You're going to keep these gorillas. You know, when they get their own flat screen, you start having these monkeys, right? They're going to be like, no, they get little Nikes. They get to wear little Nikes to help them climb the trees. And like, we give them a vegan diet.
But you know what?
It's cool.
So Dean, if you want to jump in, just nod and we'll bring you into the conversation. Or you can Dean, you want to jump in?
Would you train a monkey to pick a coconut? Tell the truth. Would you?
I don't know about all the monkey stuff. I want to go. Thanks for having me. I want to go back to oh, by the way, hey Paul and Yo Fat. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here, man.
No, this whole TikTok thing.
Yeah.
So my background is in music publishing. I'm a music publisher, right? So I understand music copyright, how it works on Facebook and YouTube and whatnot. And TikTok seems to they don't care about the stuff they use.
Yeah.
Anyone to use music. So right now there's a lawsuit that this organization that I'm a part of is called I think Music Publishers Association. They are getting ready to sue TikTok because they have used so much of Billie Eilish music and all the other people on the platform that anytime you use music and put that against video, then a sync license is generated.
Yeah.
And TikTok, I don't understand why they don't care about that. I don't get that part.
China doesn't care. China doesn't
they don't care, right? They're like, we do what we want.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, they need to get their act together. I mean, it's a nice platform. People are getting popular and all this stuff, but creators need to make money.
It's a weird thing, right? Because there's people who were not on the scene and blew up because their video, their song got used on a TikTok, but that's probably such a small percentage of the people that are having their stuff used in terms of who's benefiting. But I mean, it's like the song becomes part of the meme, right? Like the song becomes so associated with the meme that's getting reproduced over and over again. And that's gotta be producing, when that happens for people, it's gotta be producing massive benefits.
Yes. I just wish that the music creators, the rights owners could get paid because they hustle, they work hard. And for me, I protect songwriters, I protect, the creators. That's what I do on my channel. And so they need to fix that part, man.
So I have a question actually.
Popular.
Yeah. So if you're an unknown musician and then your song blows up on TikTok, can you then go like, hey, that's my song that became viral, and use it for better relationship, sponsorship, promotion, to actually get your music out there? Is that like...
Yeah, for sure, because eyeballs are on TikTok, for sure. So any platform that publicizes you or that promotes you, you use that as social proof. So on one hand, you can definitely use that data and say, hey, man, look, my song went viral. I have heard countless of testimonies with that from different people that I'm associated with. But at the same time, that's one side of it. And on the other side, you wish that they could do what YouTube does, pays someone when their music is streamed, when their music is played. But, you still have to be thankful, I guess.
Yeah, it's
like if you hit the lottery, which is what it sort of is sometime, right? If you're one of the lucky ones that hits the TikTok lottery, like you're getting so many more downloads of your songs, and there's some money coming out of it. But then you go, there's got to be this huge slice of other people that's not happening for, and they're sitting there hoping that they do hit the lottery, and not only are they not, a lot of them never will. And meanwhile, their stuff is still being used to help other people with their content. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and TikTok there are a few groups that love TikTok, and there are some that won't love it at all. And I don't think every platform is for everyone, but I just want creators to be treated fairly. It's just my thing. I just want us to be treated fairly because we work hard.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because this could also be considered the marketing thing, right? But rather than putting marketing, you actually put it on TikTok, let a lot of people use it for free. You get found, right? Kind of like SoundCloud and SoundCloud, right? Like the Google thing. So wouldn't that be you're putting your music out there, getting listeners and subscribers and people to follow you and love what you're doing, and then use that as a base to, to actually become a paid artist?
Of course. So there are plenty of artists because the music aggregators like CD Baby and TuneCore, I'm not too sure if you're familiar with those types of things, but the platform that artists use whenever they're distributing their music digitally, they will use TuneCore, CD Baby, 1RPM, different places like those. So they now offer TikTok as a choice that you can choose to distribute your music. So just like what you just said, fans can grab a hold of that song and the song will just blow up. And the main thing though, going on TikTok, if you can get people to come back to you on another platform also helps.
Yeah.
Because TikTok in of itself it only brings you attraction, but not necessarily a financial gain, if you would.
Yeah.
So if they follow you on Instagram or YouTube and kind of you build your fan base like that, then of course it definitely worth it.
Yeah, Debbie just shared, thank you so much. Debbie with a Y is watching us on LinkedIn, and she just shared this article, The Original Renegade, a 14-year-old in Atlanta. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
One of the biggest dances on the internet, and nobody really knows that. But she's in the New York Times, so now everybody knows it.
Yeah,
so
she finally got her 5 minutes, but it's still, I think it's hard because so her Charlie, who got really famous doing that young lady's dance, now has 65 million followers on TikTok. She was able to do that stuff, and that's Charlie on the right behind her.
This one?
And no, that's Charlie's the darker haired one.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that young lady, I know her name, but I can't think of it right now. So, they were doing this young lady's dance and many other dances, and then like Charlie on the right, again, 65 million followers on TikTok. She worked out a deal with Dunkin' Donuts. She's got Dunkin' Donuts for life.
This one, right? This one?
Yeah.
But you're saying like the Was it Jalala? She's the one who invented it, the one with the red
Yeah,
shirt?
so the young lady in front is the one who created the dance. And for a long time, people didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I don't know that.
I didn't assume that Charlie created it. I just didn't know where it came from. But Charlie and others were using that, and they blew up, right? And they got all this stuff. And again, like Charlie D'Amelio, you know, she's making, there are estimates now that when she does a product placement in a post, that she's getting anywhere from 30 to 40,000 for a single post.
Yeah.
You know, and so like, that's again, like, I want to be careful. I think people jump in. I don't think, you know, when she started, she was 15 years old. I don't think a 15-year-old young lady was consciously thinking about like cultural appropriation and being like, how can I get ahead on the back of this other young woman? I think she saw a dance, thought it was cool, you know, and it took off and stuff. But again, it's that weird thing of like, so basically, in the parlance of what we all know about internet stuff, she curated something, right? Did she truly curate it? Did she give credit from the get-go? Probably not. Because again, she's a 15-year-old kid. Yeah. She probably didn't, you know, she didn't have a marketing team telling her how to do things the right way and all. Now she does. Now she's got a whole, you know, she's got representation and everything. But it's another weird sort of like it's like a dark side to all of this stuff, right? You know, like what's...
I agree with Debbie with a Y that says it's important to recognize collabs and give credit when it's due. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. But and again, the only thing I'm saying is like, how many 15-year-old kids are really thinking about that? You know, like she was just trying to have fun and
she didn't know it's gonna explode, right?
You know?
Yeah, she probably didn't know it's going to become viral and become
this big thing. She had no way of knowing she was going to end up with 65 million followers and a contract and she's been in a Super Bowl commercial. And I think now she's maybe even got a TV. I heard a rumor she was going to be in a movie or a TV show or something like, you know, like, she's just dancing in her room having fun. Like, it's weird. This, again, the weirdness of the time we live in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That you can blow up and then everything blows up. Speaking of blowing up, all the weird stuff that foreigners think about Americans.
That's a good list, isn't it?
It's a fantastic list. The first one is that...
there's too many to cover them all. We got to just do like your favorites.
So as an Israeli who came here, the big glasses of water with ice in restaurants, we're like, why are you guys drinking that so much? We don't do this, and we don't drink. No, and we don't drink with our meals because, you know, you want to be full with the food and then drink. You guys, first you come to a restaurant, you fill up with water, then you wait, then you have a little bit of food, then you rush out and you take everything to go. It's
important to stay hydrated, though.
You drink in between meals, not during the meal.
All right.
That's one thing. The other one that was kind of very weird is that how expensive it is to have kids here in this country. In Israel, you actually get paid to have kids. So it's a very, very weird thing as a foreigner. The other one, identifying your heritage instead of your nationality. Americans will say, I'm Italian, I'm German, I'm Polish.
I thought that was a really interesting one, right? Because it's so true. Like Americans have this thing about saying what their heritage is, and simultaneously they think that they're like proud to be American. It goes, why don't you just say you're American then? Why is it always, you know, your heritage? It's a strange thing about. And then the other thing too is now with all these 23andMe and stuff, when you look at the genetics, you go, no, you're really not. You're just not.
It's super interesting. The other one is like, this one I never get. Pledging allegiance to the flag in the class. That is super weird to me.
Well, that goes back to like the Cold War and stuff. That was back when you was like, you needed to indoctrinate the kids and make sure that they cared about their patriotism.
Because.
Yeah. Or else you could end up becoming a commie.
God forbid we become commies.
Listen, you know, this is an important, again, like, this is important, like, it gets easy now in our short attention span lives. Let me look this up real quick. Hold on.
And while you're looking at live,
McCarthy was the guy who was really trying to root out who the communists were that lived in America. And that was in the 50s. And in the 50s, it was like a witch hunt, basically, right? Where they would, if you were accused of being a communist, if you named other communists, they'd go easy on you, you know. But they were throwing people,
like snitching on each other. That
yeah,
was the thing?
people were snitching and naming neighbors who they knew weren't communists. It was the same way the witch trials worked. Of like, just they were so scared that something was going to happen to them. So you're talking.
So this is where you got the Karens, and this is where you got the HOA people, and this is where you got all this behavior of like, let me tell you, let me call the police on you instead of just come and talk to you.
So you're looking at like, it started as early as 47 when they started screening civil service employees, and then it went through the meetings, the blacklists, 47. So all around 47, you know, like you go, so that's really what, like 3 generations. It wasn't that long ago, you know. Scary.
Weird. The other thing that is weird here is that you do not put the full price on items. So you'll see that it's like $2, but when you come to pay, it's $2.08, and you're like, why didn't you say it's $2.08? Just put the whole price there. Like you always have to calculate the taxes that are.
Because they've done the research that says that if you keep it under the dollar barrier, it makes people more likely to buy. So
but then if I don't have the money, then I don't have the money.
No, we're weird like that. That's our consumerism again, the ugly head of our.
Really weird. So that's another one. Putting sugar in a ton of things like bread and everything. That's super, super weird, right? This one is funny. Toilet stalls where not people can pick inside, but an adult person can crawl into your cubicle. That's a funny thing in America.
Yeah, it's a real, yeah. Well, and you know what, again, is a strange subcultural sense. Like when I was a kid in high school, they would never ever, in the boys' locker room of my high school, the stall didn't even have a door on it. So like, if you needed to do a number 2, you had to just sit on the toilet and do it with everybody walking by and watching.
Preparing you for jail.
Right? Like, where you go. But then if that was again with a weird sort of sexism of you know, that like they would never have done that in the ladies' room at my high school. And not only would there not be one stall, they probably had like 3 or 4 stalls. We had one stall, no door. Good luck if you need to poop. Like there's we got a lot of weird stuff. We do.
Is that a budget thing? Where they're like,
no, I think they were afraid that the boys were gonna be like, I don't know, causing damage, carving on, I don't know, stupid stuff like that maybe. Or it was maybe it got broken, it just never got fixed. But on my whole 4 years of high school, there was never a door on the crapper in the boys' locker room.
So I'm assuming nobody took a number 2, because
no, so you have to hold it. Yeah. The worst when you had to go to gym class and be running around and doing stuff, and you're like, please don't let me like
no jumping, no jumping
while I'm playing volleyball, you know? It's terrible.
The PTSD you guys have from high school.
Yeah.
So let's finish with a really nice thing.
Yes.
This barista made over $100,000 because she denied service to a customer for not wearing a mask. The customer went on Facebook to shame her, and instead of being able to shame her, someone started a GoFundMe, and she started getting like she got over $100,000 for that.
It was the barista was a guy, right? Is the customer that was a woman?
Yes, it's a guy.
Yeah, so the barista was a guy, who just said, I can't serve you if you don't have a mask, and she went bonkers, and then
she goes like, oh, I never did anything. I don't understand why people threaten my life.
She's saying that her life is in. She's actually talking about suing to get some of that money. You know, again, you know what? Let's stay away from the politics of it, because that doesn't seem to do anything good. Here's what I like. In a time in which 30-something million people are unemployed, a lot of people are nervous about, paying for things. I love that there are times when people still get moved to support other human beings in this way. Like the number might throw you, you might go, that young guy, he doesn't need 100,000. That's not the point. Like the idea that people recognized and tried to do something to support another human being, whether you agree with it or not, that essential part of it, I'd like to think we can all agree with. You know, that if the shoe was on the other foot, and if there were people who wanted to create an account for the woman, you know, if they agree with her, I may not agree with it, but still that when human beings feel like there's something that they want to support, that still happens, even when we're in a tough time in our, you know, our economy and our history. I think that's pretty cool.
And I love the karma of things. You know, you go out there, you try to shame someone else, and everybody turns against you because you're not being, you know, a good human being. So I like that one. Charles Crenshaw is here going like, what? I know. If you want the whole story, it's right here. Be the naked truth.
Sounds like Charles was in the Navy. He says, sounds like the service. There were no doors and walls. Yeah, you just had to go to the head and do your business, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Strange times.
Yeah, and you have that, but then we're worried about, are we mentioning colors? How are we talking about, you know, how we attracting other people? It's like, it's really...
Again, human beings are strange. Human beings are fascinating, right? Because we can get so fired up over one thing and just not care about another thing that you look at and you go,
the same thing.
That's kind of weird. We do that a lot, don't we? We really do.
I'm what is it? Pro-war and pro-choice.
There's a lot of that stuff, you know, there's a lot. And it's perspectives, right? Like human beings have this amazing ability to have really different perspectives on things that sometimes when you look at them don't seem like they should be that far apart.
Right.
But the way that people can take perspectives on them then all of a sudden do make them seem like really far apart. And I think genuinely are for the person at the time. It's a fascinating thing about us, how we make meaning out of life's various issues and experiences.
Yeah, and that's why this is all about personal development and business and marketing. So tomorrow, business and marketing, we'll be talking. So here's what's happening this week, guys. Tomorrow, we're talking about Google Analytics because we promised you to give you a look into our analytics every month and show you how we're doing. Because we don't have a lot to share, Paul is also going to bring 3 things that you should be aware of.
We'll keep it going.
On Wednesday, we're bringing you 2-time Emmy Award winner, Broadway producer Ken Davenport, to talk about storytelling and dramatic marketing. And I spoke with him today. One of the things that he's really fantastic at is helping you figuring out your own story and how you position yourself to get PR for free. So if you're one of those small business out there who feel like, I can never do it, you know, I can never win with the big guys because I don't have enough money, I don't have a big team, I cannot do all these things, come on Wednesday because you can work with Ken one-on-one and he can show you how to get all the PR and visibility and awareness that you need for your small business. Thursday, it's I'm That Geek. We're going to talk to Holly Jean Jackson about how she got almost killed by a bear, she lost her marriage, she lost her health, and she turned it all around and started a very successful small business. So if you're struggling right now and you're going like, I can't do it, and you need some structure and some strategies, Thursday is for you. And finally, we're going to celebrate together on Friday with our happy hour. So that's what we're having every day at 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on BeTheNakedTruth.com /.
You should have trained a monkey to defend her against that bear. That's what she should have done. I want that to be a recurring
thing.
Training monkeys for things. We go way better than
if we start our program now with a little monkey going like,
I want to, we're a business, marketing, personal development, and we have a monthly segment where we figure out a new way to train a monkey to help us with our business. A monkey that can run to Starbucks for us, stuff like that.
Bring you tea, bring me coffee.
Leave it in the comments section. What would you train a monkey to do? I just can't get over it. The monkey and the coconuts.
So, while you're cracking up,
be nice to the monkeys, though. That part's not funny. Be nice to the monkeys. They're animals, all God's creatures.
You should have a T-shirt. Be nice to the monkeys.
Be nice to the monkeys. Look, the monkey can work for a fair day's wage, but you don't gotta be mean to it. Let's be reasonable.
Yeah, give some coconut to the monkey. Adil says, can you tell us more about your copywriting program? And he's asking about how my 100-day challenge is going. So we are over time. We'll start with that tomorrow, Adil. Jump on in and we'll definitely cover that. So until tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. See you later.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's episode, come back and spend more time with us. You could be on the broadcast sharing your thoughts. We hang out live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern at www.bethenakedtruth.com/live.